We live in a world that celebrates constant connection. We're expected to attend gatherings, network endlessly, and always have something to say. But here's the truth. Not everyone thrives in those spaces, especially people who are deeply thoughtful, observant, and intelligent. Often we mislabel them as antisocial or arrogant, when in reality, their reasons for avoiding socializing are layered, meaningful, and often misunderstood. One of the most surprising reasons why smart people often hate socializing is their natural resistance to small talk. For many, casual conversations are just a way to break the ice or pass the time. But for intelligent people, small talk feels empty, even suffocating. Their minds are wired to look for depth, meaning, and substance. They want to explore the why behind things, to challenge ideas, to uncover truths, to exchange wisdom. So when they're stuck in a loop of how's the weather or did you see the latest celebrity news, their brain starts shutting down. It's not that they dislike people, it's that they crave a kind of dialogue that brings them alive. They'd rather talk about human behavior, spirituality, science, psychology, or dreams for the future than spend an hour discussing gossip. They'd rather listen to someone's authentic struggles or wild hopes than rehearse the same shallow scripts society often demands. To them, conversations are not fillers, they are lifelines. This is also why they sometimes appear quiet in large social gatherings. It's not arrogance, it's not shyness, it's simply that they don't want to waste energy on words that don't carry weight. In fact, many intelligent people would rather be silent than pretend to enjoy a meaningless exchange. Silence for them is more honest than fake laughter. The depth they crave makes them excellent one-on-one communicators. When they connect with someone who match as their wavelength, they can talk for hours and walk away energized. But in most social environments where small talk dominates, they feel misplaced. This isn't a weakness, it's a reflection of their desire for authenticity. They want real conversations that change them, not shallow words that drain them. Another surprising reason why smart people dislike socializing is their heightened level of awareness. Their brains are constantly analyzing, processing, and connecting information. When they enter a room, they don't just see people, they notice everything. The way someone avoids eye contact, the shift in tone when a person feels uncomfortable, the subtle sarcasm hidden beneath a joke. They pick up on body language, energy shifts, and unspoken emotions that most others overlook. Now imagine being at a party or crowded event with dozens of conversations happening at once. For the average person, it's just noise and chatter. But for someone highly observant, it's like walking into a storm of signals. Their brain doesn't filter these details out, it absorbs them. Every laugh, every side glance, every whispered word gets stored and analyzed. And while that makes them incredibly insightful, it also makes socializing mentally exhausting. This sensitivity to stimulation doesn't stop with people. Bright lights, loud music, clashing voices, and constant interruptions can overwhelm them quickly. It's not because they are weak, it's because their mind is hyperactive, processing information at a faster and deeper level than most. What feels like a simple, fun night out to others can feel like sensory overload to them. This is why many intelligent people prefer quiet environments, intimate gatherings, or one-on-one conversations. In those settings, their observational skills shine. They can give their full attention, listen deeply, and respond thoughtfully. But in large growing ups, their ability to notice everything becomes a double-edged sword. It makes them insightful, but it also drains them. So when smart people avoid parties or social events, it's not rejection of others, it's self-preservation. Their minds are like sponges, and sometimes the best way to protect their clarity is to step away from environments that overstimulate them. One of the most misunderstood reasons why smart people dislike socializing is their struggle with authenticity in group settings. Intelligent people carry a strong inner compass. They know when something feels real and when something feels forced. And in many social gatherings, there's often a silent expectation to play along. Whether it's laughing at jokes that aren't funny, nodding in agreement to opinions they don't believe in, or pretending to enjoy conversations they find meaningless, the pressure to perform can feel unbearable. For smart people, this act of putting on a mask is not just uncomfortable, it's deeply draining. They value honesty and congruence, which means they want their words, actions, and inner beliefs to align. The moment they feel pushed to fake enthusiasm or to hide parts of themselves just to fit in, a quiet resistance rises within them. They simply cannot pretend for long. In groups, the pressure is stronger because the dynamics are often built around conformity. The loudest voice sets the tone and others follow. But intelligent people notice the cracks in that performance. They sense when people are exaggerating their success, hiding their insecurities, or competing for approval. And instead of joining in, they withdraw. Not because they think they are better than others, but because the lack of authenticity feels suffocating. This is why they often prefer small, intimate conversations. In those settings, there's room for vulnerability, honesty, and real connection. They don't have to censor themselves or water down their thoughts. They can ask deeper questions, share real struggles, and speak from the heart without worrying about being judged. In large groups, authenticity is often sacrificed for acceptance. For intelligent people, that sacrifice is too costly. They would rather be silent, misunderstood, or even absent than betray their own truth just to blend in. And while others may see this as being antisocial, the reality is they are simply choosing honesty over performance. For highly intelligent people, time is not just hours on a clock, it is life itself. They understand that every moment spent is a moment they can never get back. While many people may see socializing as a casual pastime, smart individuals weigh it differently. They ask themselves, is this gathering going to enrich me, challenge me, or bring me closer to something meaningful? Or will it simply drain me and leave me empty? If the answer leans toward the latter, they hesitate and often decline. This is not arrogance, it is clarity. Intelligent people often live with a heightened awareness of their purpose, their goals, and the limited nature of time. They know that an hour spent on shallow conversations is an hour taken away from building something meaningful, learning something new, or simply resting in silence to recharge their minds. To them, time is sacred real estate, and they are careful landlords of it. When they do attend social events that lack depth, they quickly sense the cost. They feel restless. Their minds wander toward the book they could have been reading, the project waiting for their attention, or the reflection that could have offered them peace. And because their internal dialogue is so strong, the frustration of wasted time lingers long after the event is over. It's important to understand that this doesn't mean they dislike people. In fact, when a gathering is meaningful, filled with authenticity, shared growth, and genuine connection, intelligent people can thrive. They can pour themselves fully into the experience and leave enriched. But when socializing feels like a repetitive cycle of gossip, distractions, or meaningless activity, it clashes with their values. For smart people, avoiding certain social situations is not about rejecting others. It is about protecting what matters most, the finite time they have to invest in what truly aligns with their lives. They don't want to spend life simply passing time. They want to spend it building something that matters. One of the paradoxes of intelligent people is that they often feel more alone in a crowded room than when they are sitting by themselves. To someone on the outside, this seems strange. How can anyone feel lonely while surrounded by laughter, voices, and company? But for smart individuals, loneliness is not about physical proximity. It is about connection, understanding, and being truly seen. When they step into a large gathering, they quickly notice the patterns, conversations that skim the surface, people performing to fit in, laughter that feels forced, and an atmosphere where everyone is present but not fully authentic. They sense the distance between what people are saying and what they are really feeling. And in that space, they feel unseen. Surrounded by noise, they are silently asking, does anyone here really understand me? Can I share what's truly on my heart without fear of judgment? When the answer is no, the loneliness sets in, sometimes heavier than the solitude they embrace at home. This is why solitude feels different to them. Being alone does not equal loneliness. In solitude, they can hear their own thoughts. They can connect deeply with themselves. Vez, reflect, dream, and create. They can rest without pretense. Solitude for them is nourishment. Crowds, on the other hand, can sometimes starve them of authenticity, leaving them more emotionally drained than before they arrived. Loneliness in crowds often teaches them to be selective. They learn to value smaller, more intentional gatherings where depth exists. They cherish those rare conversations that move beyond the surface, where someone dares to be vulnerable, open, and real. In those moments, they feel alive and connected. So when smart people avoid big social events, it's not that they don't like people. It's that they've tasted the heaviness of feeling unseen in a sea of faces, and they'd rather choose solitude where loneliness doesn't exist than endure the emptiness of shallow connection. One of the clearest reasons smart people often dislike socializing is that they are highly protective of their energy. For them, every interaction is an exchange, not just of words, but of emotions, attention, and mental focus. They are deeply aware that some people add to their lives while others quietly drain them. And because they are constantly observing, analyzing, and reflecting, they can feel the weight of that exchange more intensely than most. When they walk into a room filled with negative energy, complaining, gossip, manipulation, or superficial chatter, it doesn't just annoy them, it exhausts them. Their mind starts working overtime, trying to process the tension and navigate the performance. By the time they leave, they often feel more depleted than when they arrived. Over time, they learn that not every invitation deserves a yes, and not every person deserves access to their emotional world. Protecting their energy does not mean they dislike people. It means they know the cost of giving themselves away too freely. They understand that saying yes to every social event, every call, every coffee catch-up would leave them spread thin, unable to show up fully for the things and people that matter most. By being selective, they preserve their clarity, their creativity, and their peace of mind. This boundary setting is often misunderstood. Others might label them as distant, antisocial, or even cold. But in reality, they are choosing wisely. They know that the wrong company can derail their focus, disturb their emotional balance, and leave them carrying energy that isn't theirs to carry. So they create smaller circles, tighter connections, and safer spaces where they can thrive. For intelligent people, protecting their energy is not selfish, it's survival. It's the way they ensure that when they do give, they give fully, deeply, and authentically. And in a world that constantly demands more, their refusal to compromise their inner peace is not a weakness, it's a strength. We often misunderstand why smart people resist socializing. Too easily, they are called antisocial, arrogant, or difficult, when in reality, the truth is much deeper. What looks like avoidance is often self-preservation. What seems like withdrawal is really wisdom. Intelligent people do not shy away from people because they lack love or compassion. They step back because they crave authenticity, value their time, and fiercely protect their energy. They want conversations that have weight, not empty small talk. They notice every detail, every shift, every hidden tension, and it overwhelms them. They struggle with group dynamics because their soul cannot fake enthusiasm or hide behind masks. They fear wasting time because they see it as the most precious resource they will ever have. They experience loneliness in crowds because what they long for is connection, not company. And they guard their emotional and mental energy because they know that not every space is worthy of their presence. So the next time you meet someone who prefers solitude or avoids large gatherings, don't assume they are cold. Understand that solitude for them is not loneliness, it's peace. Their refusal to conform to shallow interactions is not pride, it's integrity. Their selectiveness is not rejection, it's protection. Smart people don't hate socializing because they hate people. They hate the kind of socializing that forces them to abandon their truth. And maybe there's something in that for all of us, a reminder that true connection isn't about being everywhere. It's about being real wherever you are, wherever